You've hit the wall someplace, you've looked in the mirror too many times and haven't smiled. You want to change the situation, move from where you are. You find the fear. The quickest, the easiest way you can beat it is initially, right when it comes in. If you allow it to sit, it will grow roots and start breaking you down, destroying the potential of the person you can be. Always willing to fail, because in failure, that's part of success. Success is not, a marathon of life with just ups. Success is formulated through failures, through facing your fears, through falling down and getting back up. That's what creates the champion. Success does not define us. We define the success. It's an uphill battle. It's a path less taken, not the beaten path everyone else takes. It's a path that leads to character. You gotta earn that. You go after it, you give it all you have. If you lose, at least you try, man. I failed. It's 10 times more of a man than someone said, what if? Because what if never went to the arena. When you guys find a fear, that fear will either create you or destroy you. I love fear, and the reason why, behind every fear is a person you want to be. Fear is self-imposed, meaning it doesn't exist. You create it, you can destroy it too. It's an intangible. If you face your fears, guys, you will realize it's not that big.
Someone said that I was given keys to the city of your dreams. I'm more content to walk outside the walls and catch a breeze. I'm more inclined to climb on bio, ride internal seas. I'm more alive to vibe inside a mansion full of trees. I do this for a reason that they can't pretend to glean. I lose myself infused in something more than what they've seen. I'm not a slave to greed, I don't embrace your make-believe. I've never been for sale, no matter what they think I need. So let it be decreed, let this music serve the deed. Let it spread like a disease, let it spawn a noble seed. There's more than meets the eye, there's more than meets the price. If you can't see the sky, there's too much artificial light. I can't predict my path, but they can't fully see my past. I'm running from the flash, but heading straight inside the blast. A mountain full of ego built upon a heap of trash. It's exactly what you get when you can't fully do the math.
What does it take for a real knockout puncher to get the job done?
Well, there's a certain kind of knockout punches.
One left hook to the judge. Two right hook to the judge.
Hello was an Olympic coach. Down go.
Three right left hook.
Was in trouble in both the first and 10th rounds, and now he's in trouble.
Four right hook.
He's invited.
Five left hook to the liver. Six right hand to the leg.
In the eyes of judges, incidentally, he's won at least 40 out, and down goes Madonna.
Seven jabs to the head.
Snatches his way back, right on top.
Eight jabs to the body.
This kid Morales has fought a very intelligent fighter.
There's something, being a big man really doesn't matter. It has no significance in knocking out someone. The main point is the quickness.
What I see in what you're saying is, one, getting the shoulder in. A lot of fighters are arm punches. And secondly, the quickness so that the opponent doesn't see the punch and that's what knocks him out. He's not prepared for it.
Absolutely.
as one can also assume boxing has a various amount of injuries. There was actually a 5-year surveillance study done, and it concluded that the most injured bone was the 5th metacarpal, having a 55% fracture rate. Meanwhile, the least affected metacarpal was the first one, with having a 1%. It was also concluded that the 11% contained dislocations and 1% contained radius/ulnar fractures. The study was made at an academic level 1 trauma center with an annual volume of 72,000, and it was both reviewed and approved by the Institutional Review Board. The study consisted of emergency department patients who had radiographic studies of their hands for injuries that were caused by intentional punches. However, most closed fist and punch injuries usually conclude in the fracture of the 5th metacarpal, which contains 55% of the conclusions. This is often known as the classic boxer's fracture. However, injuries do not just stop there. There are various ways that the brain can be affected in boxing. One of the negative ways is a concussion. Now, the official definition of concussion, according to the 5th International Conference on Concussion in Sport, which was held in Berlin, is defined as a traumatic brain injury by biochemical forces. So how do you identify a concussion? What are its features? Usually concussion occurs the instant of the hit or blow, and the symptoms and side effects happen immediately. However, there are certain times where the symptoms will not occur or evolve over a period of time. This could vary from minutes to hours. A concussion can result in a neuropathological change, neuropathology meaning the study of diseases in the nervous system, but usually the symptoms end up having no detectable organic basis, therefore no abnormalities will appear on any standard neuroimaging studies. This basically means that even though you have a concussion, it will not be able to appear on any normal studies done. Now, the symptoms of a concussion can range. This includes loss of consciousness, the disappearance or resolution of cognitive symptoms, which usually happens in a certain order and time. However, the symptoms could sometimes take longer to leave. What are the symptoms of a concussion? So, there are various different symptoms. Somatic symptoms, these include nausea, headaches, and so forth. There are cognitive symptoms, for example, difficulty in concentration and memory problems. There are emotional symptoms, such as bad or uncooperative mood. Physical symptoms include confusion, slurred speech, change in fighting style, difficulty in making eye contact, or loss of balance impairment. This basically means there's a difficulty in walking or there's dizziness. Behavioral changes, this could be irritability or non-compliant. Cognitive impairment, this means slowness to answer questions or to react, and no orientation, whether that be a location, date, or person. And there are also sleep or wake disturbances, which basically means drowsiness. There was a 5-year surveillance study done. This consisted of the team doctor and physiotherapist recording 66 boxers who passed through the squad over 5 years. Each injury was recorded, including the regions affected, the description of each injury, and the duration, training or in competition, and whether it was a new injury or if it was recurrent. After performing the surveillance study, the results showed that the most affected and injured part of the body, both during training and competition, whether it was new or recurrent, was the hand. The overall injury rate in training was 828 per 100 hours, and the hand injury rate in competition was 302 per 1,000 hours. This information came from the boxing injury epidemiology in the Great Britain team. Through the results, it was concluded that, according to boxing injury epidemiology, injury protection should aim to protect the hands and wrists of elite amateur boxers. While analyzing the results, it can be concluded that in the Great Britain amateur boxing, the level of concussion was lower than what has been previously recorded in professional boxing. According to Zazrin, they found that the concussions were the second most commonly occurring type of injury in competition in professional male and female boxers in Victoria, Australia, accounting for 12% of all injuries. Similarly, Porter and O'Brien found that concussions were the most commonly occurring type of injury in amateur male boxers in Ireland in competitions, accounting for 52% of all injuries. However, in this 5-year study surveillance, there was no concussions recorded during training and only 5 in competition. A concern among professional boxing are eye injuries that include detached retinas. However, there were no detached retinas during the 5-year study, and there was only 1 eye injury. CTE is short for chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Now, according to the University of Boston, it is a degenerative brain disease found in athletes, military veterans, and others with a history of repetitive brain trauma. In CTE, there's a protein called tau that forms clumps which then spread through the brain at a very slow pace, killing brain cells during the process. The cause of CTE, and I quote from Concussion Legacy Foundation, is repetitive hits to the head sustained over a period of years. However, this does not mean a couple of concussions. Usually the people diagnosed have suffered from hundreds to thousands of impacts to the head over many years, usually due to contact sports or the military. CTE has been found in people that are primarily exposed to head impacts, such as tackle football, American football, which consists of 200 plus cases. The military, which consists of 25 more cases, hockey, 20 plus cases, boxing, 50 plus cases, and 50 plus globally, rugby, 5 plus cases, and soccer, 5 plus cases, however, 10 plus globally. Pro wrestling, which consists of 5 plus cases, and, in fewer than 3 cases each, baseball, basketball, intimate partner violence, and individual with development disorders who engaged in headbanging behaviors. This information was all provided by Concussion Legacy Foundation. Currently, CTE is only diagnosed after death through brain tissue analysis. To diagnose it, doctors slice brain tissue and then use chemicals which make tau clumps visible. After that, they search parts of the brain that have the clumps that have the patterns specific to CTE. A clear example of how concussion works is demonstrated in the movie Concussion, which reenacts the studies of Dr. Marlowe who researched CTE in American football players. This can be seen in the next clip.
This is a game of awareness. It is a game of desire. That's why we have the 3 whistle drill. Let's go! When I blow this whistle 3 times, you seek out a teammate, any teammate. You make collision. You be physical. You be violent. Bring it in here. Let's go. Bring it in. The only way you're gonna get this player's hands off you, you grab by his throat and you squeeze. You choke him until shit runs down his leg. Do you understand me?
Jaguars and the Eagles, Dirk Johnson. And I'm going to wait for this because the look on his face tells you that he got it. Yeah, go! And our #1 hit of the week, John Kitna dropping back the pass, and Shante Spencer lifts him off his feet. Oh my God. And John Kitna got it.
You should see this, Bennett. It's actually really beautiful.
I want to show you something. A human brain sits in a fluid completely disconnected from the human skull.
Even though boxing has the possibility of many risks, it also has many benefits. There are many physical benefits that come with boxing. One of the main benefits is strength. Since you swing your arms and practice punches and combinations, you're working the muscles on your back and in your arms. Over time, this strengthens these muscles, and since you use gloves that carry a certain weight to them, this will make your muscles work more due to the increased weight on your arms, therefore over time increasing strength. Another great physical benefits are the aerobic exercises. Through boxing, one can do a lot of aerobic exercises. These exercises get your heart pumping, which helps lower the risk of high blood pressure, heart disease, stroke, and diabetes. Another great benefit that boxing brings is balance. In boxing, you work and acquire balance. This is done because you are constantly changing positions, which challenge your balance and coordination, and as you progress and do that more, your balance increases. Now, the overall key physical benefits are improvement in balance, improvement in posture, strengthening of upper body and core. It boosts endurance, enhances mood, and improves your hand-eye coordination, as well as a great fat burner in keeping in shape. Not only does boxing have physical benefits, but also mental ones. While boxing, you need to be fully concentrated and focused on the task at hand. Boxing basically allows you to switch off from the outside world and be present in the moment. It's also an excellent form of stress relief and stimulates endorphin production, which is caused by work in the bag. Not only this, but when boxing, you're never alone. It makes it a great motivator. Since you are training with people, you have this motivation, and it allows you to perform that extra rep, that extra sit-up, that extra heavy bag round. It creates a better and healthy lifestyle as you have social support. Boxing can also help you learn a lot about yourself. As you box, you start to realize how your brain works and understand the way it reacts whilst you develop your personal boxing style. When you do a boxing workout, it is not only about throwing random punches. It is actually made up of infinite combinations that involves hooks, jabs, and uppercuts, and much more. Doing all these combinations with a good technique and the correct position requires concentration, practice, and perseverance. In addition, boxing builds self-confidence as much as physical strength. A clear example of this is Prince Harry, as he openly shared and talked about the battle he had with mental health and how he turned to boxing to help him overcome his mother's death. This is just one of the many cases on how boxing can help you mentally. Finally, boxing can help you manage anger and overcome it. As you hit a heavy bag, it can express both physical and symbolic stress or anger. While you hit the bag, you are relieving tension in the body. Training boxing as a group is a good and safe way of releasing the tension or aggression you might be feeling without having the possibility of hurting yourself or others. It helps you work on any negative feelings you might be experiencing and lets you overcome them.